Hello and welcome to another edition of Arlene's Book Club Book Reviews. My name is Zing and today I'm going to be talking to you about Australian author Liane Moriarty, and the book is called Big Little Lies. So I'm going to briefly give you a summary of the book and then I'll tell you my recommendation. So let's get started. So this book is about basically a school function, and the school trivia night. We start off with school trivia night, and it's actually works backwards from the present, then it goes forward into the present day. So it starts off with the murder, and you know all about, there's a murder of some sort, and then it goes back to 6 months before the murder and what happens, and it works all the way up to the actual school trivia night. So this is about 3 women, Jane, who's a single mother, and she's just moved into the community, and her son Ziggy is about to start kindergarten. So on orientation day for kindergarten, Jane meets Madeline, and she actually helps her when Madeline actually twists her ankle, and it's hurt, and so she helps her, and they meet, and they form a friendship from that moment. And so Madeline actually also has a daughter starting kindergarten that day too. And then also starting kindergarten is Celeste, her friend. Celeste is a beautiful and rich woman, and she has some twins, boys actually, starting kindergarten. So they form a friendship just from the first day. And on the first day of kindergarten, Jane's son is accused of bullying. So that the mothers sort of take sides, and it starts this snowball effect of who's with who, and all the chit chat that goes around with it, and the gossip. So so that's what happens. So that's the basic summary of the book. The book basically goes through the 3 women's lives, and detail their inner thoughts, and what happens leading up to the murder. So when I first picked up this book, actually I only picked it up because of its lovely cover. It caught my eye, and I hadn't really heard of Moriarty, but she's a New York Times bestseller. She wrote Husband's Secret and some other, what's the other one that she did? She did Husband's Secret, The Hypnotist's Love Story, What Alice Forgot, The Last Anniversary, and 3 Wishes. And she's also an author of children's books as well. So what I liked about this book, well, let's start with what I didn't like about it first, actually. What I didn't like about this first was the build-up. When I was reading it, I found that it was just, going on about the women and the gossip, and, how it was trying to lead up to the murder, but it didn't really have much, the strings weren't connected very early on in the story, so I sort of lost track of it, and I just thought it was just about these 3 women. And then towards the end, right before we get to trivia night, we actually, you realize that's the murder right there, and then there's a twist there. So it was a bit slow for me at first, so that was the only negative I had to say about the book. Now, what I liked about it was, when I first picked it up, it looked like a nice light read. So I actually thought I would enjoy it, and I did. It's only 458 pages, so for this hardcover, and a lot of it was the build up to the murder itself. And I actually enjoyed the last part of the book the best. But there were, excuse me, I've got allergies and my throat is, anyway. So aside from that, so with the book, the ending was fantastic. I really loved it. I gave this book 4 out of 5 because it was nicely written. Moriarty was a journalist, so she has a really good knack of writing. She writes, this is really easy to read and very light, but at the same time, it brings up some certain themes like domestic abuse. There's bullying, and then there's, you know, teenagers who are out of control and just, you know, selling their bodies on the internet, that sort of thing. So there's quite a lot of issues, you know, and you do face those issues in your life, you know, and it's, the characters I found were realistic. There's 3 characters, so you sort of, and the way, what I liked about this was that Moriarty does a really good job of just getting inside these women's thoughts and what they're thinking, and you can relate to everything that each of these characters are thinking at all the time, and when when they're throughout the book. So I like that. And I like the way, you know, it was presented. The book was presented in a, you know, easy way so that you can enjoy, and it was sort of light and fluffy. But the way it was structured, the book, you know, it had, you know, the statements from people, the witnesses that were, you know, in and around the trivia night. And you had that throughout the book, so it made it sort of interesting and humorous, and you know, you get people's point of view, and you know how neighbors are, they just sort of just say whatever, and it has that truth in that sort of gossipy neighbor. So I like that. So this book is very easy to read, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, it kept me going till the end, because it was so light, and I finished it really quickly, so I liked it. So, you know, when you have a nice ending, it wasn't a nice ending, in fact someone died, but the ending, you know, a nice ending in the sense that, you know, all the ties, everything was tied up, and you know, when you finish, you're like, oh, it's a nice happy ending, so it gave you a nice sense of well-being. So I like that. That was you know, wasn't one of those sad weepy books, even though it was you know, it's a murder, but it was in a light tone, and you know, it was beautifully presented, and it engaged me till the end, even though, you know, I lost track of the murder in between. So I do recommend you to pick it up and read it, and I'm sure I'm going to be picking up Husband's Secret at some point, and some of her other books, because she writes pretty much similar to Jojo Moyes, and it's that sort of light writing that I like. But you know, obviously she's sharp, and she gets into she gets good insights to these characters. So I'm looking forward to reading more of her books, and I hope you pick it up and you know, enjoy, and let me know what you think. So please come to arlenesbookclub.com and, you know, pop in, leave us a comment, and, you know, check in with our videos. Okay, right, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye bye.